Welcome to Crafty With It, or welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to make some kitty tumblers for the craft show that I have coming up in December. I did stop at a store on our way to Birch Run in Michigan, and I found these little holders for invoices. So I am praying and hoping my company picks up. So I'm hoping to be able to use these to keep track of each order. And then I also, my office has moved. We moved my office back into the house. My daughter moved out with my granddaughter, so the office is now back in the house. And I'll show you around. Okay, so I got my computer station, my workstation, my presses. I got my tumbler press and my heat press. And over here, I do have a YouTube video going for Meredith, the farm wife. I've got my printer set up. I've got my sublimation printer on the bottom. Then I've got my sticker printer. And then my everyday printer for invoices. Then my Cricut. My mats are hanging on the walls. My desk for to design the stuff. And then I got storage right here. And then storage over here. And more mats. I had to come back into the house because the trailer's heating system, the furnace, is on the fritz. So I didn't want to take a chance with my sublimation ink freezing on me and not working correctly. So once she moved out, we moved everything back into the house. But today I am actually going to make tumblers. I got these off of Alibaba. When ordering on Alibaba, I make sure that it is shipping within the United States. That way I don't have to wait months on end to get products. So I ordered these last week and they came in about 7 days later. And these ones are nice because you can get the different colors. So I got several different colors of these. And they've got new straws for them. They're kids' sippy cups. And the straws come off and out. If I can get it out. They come out so you can actually wash the cup and get it nice and clean. Less chance of mold buildup. Okay, let me put this back together as I drop it on the floor. And then it just secures back in. And you just match up. There's little screw holes. I don't know if you can see it. Just match them up. And then it's nice and tight. But today we're going to make some mock-ups because I need more for the craft show that I'm going to, because I pretty much sold out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from here to here because these are a little bit different than the other ones that I've got. I'll show you the other ones. These ones have a straight, they're completely straight up here. These are the old ones. So it is a little bit taller. It's still 12 ounces. It's a little bit skinnier. And then these straws, if you look at them, it's not, you can't really detach them. And then when you look at this part, it's rounded, so you really can't get the sublimation up on the top as well as you can with the new ones. So I'm going to make some of the newer ones for the craft show that I got coming up. I did start my own website, aside from the Etsy, because Etsy, I've been on Etsy, it's been over a year now, and it's still not that great. And it don't matter how many times I change my tags, and I use different programs to get good SEOs, it's still, I think you've got to be established there for a couple of years. But my new website is www.CraftyWithIt.com. I actually have a shirt. www.CraftyWithIt.com. So let's get started. I am going to measure the cup. So it says a little over 5 1/4. A little over 5 1/4. And then I'm going to measure around approximately 8.75. So what I'm going to do, and then instead of actually printing on my sublimation printer to begin with, I will print the designs out on my regular printer, matching up to this cup until I can get it exactly correct. So I have a few different designs that I want to do. I print out all my designs for my sublimation, typically in Word. So we're going to go to Layout. We're going to go to Margins. Go down to Custom Margins. And we're going to change the margins. We're going to hit 0, 0, 0, 0. 0 tab, 0 tab, 0 tab. Press OK. This will show up some margins that are outside the printable area. Just put fix, and then it just moves it a little bit. So instead of having to put 0.12, 0.12, 0.12 throughout the whole thing, it's just easier. Then I switch from portrait, I switch it to landscape, and OK. So what we're going to do is work in our landscape. Now we want to insert one of our images that we're going to put on the cup. So I go up to Insert, Pictures, this device, and then I go to Downloads, and then here is some of them that I have. So I've got a black and red top, so I'm going to make a boy's cup. Bring this to where you guys can see it a little bit better. So this is Hot Wheels Mama's Boy. Hot Mess Mama's Boy. It's Pumpkin Monster Truck. You know, I don't think I want to do that one. I'm going to do this one. And this one's Hot Mess Mama's Boy. And it's going to insert onto the screen. So here we have Hot Mess Never Stressed Mama's Boy. And right now it's showing it's 4.6 by 8.9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this little icon right here, and I'm going to show behind text. This is going to allow me to move this anywhere I want. Move it around the screen. So then if I put in here, over on height on the right hand side, if I put 7, it's going to automatically switch the width on me. And I don't want to do that. So what I do is let's go back to 4. Move it to where I can play with it. I use these little things here and stretch it to where I want the width to be. We said it was almost 9. Just remeasure one more time for the width. it's 8.75 is what it, 8.75. So I'm going to take it over just a little bit beyond 8.75. So I got 8.76. So then the height we had 5 1/4. A little over 5 1/4. So I'm going to take, and I'm going to use the bottom one and stretch out the height. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger because I'll cut some of the top off. And I've got 5.31. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to File, Save As. I'm always going to save it. Hot Mess, Purple, Kids, Tumblr. Okay, so now that I've got it saved, any changes I make, I can either just go back to the original one or I can resave it. So now I'm going to go down to print. I'm going to put it on my regular printer because we want to make sure that it's going to fit onto our sippy cup before we start using our sublimation ink. And go to properties. I guess going to properties right now really doesn't matter. And then I'm just going to hit print. And then once we have it printed and all sorted out, I'm going to go back to File, go down to Print, and I'm going to change this one to my sublimation printer, which is my Epson 37. Then I'm going to go to Properties. I'm going to change Plain Paper to Premium Presentation Matte Paper. Standard I'm going to change to High. I'm going to go over to More Options. You can take the high speed off and hit Mirror because you're always going to want to mirror. Everything that you print for sublimation needs to be mirrored. I typically leave my high speed on. A lot of people take it off. And then we would hit print. Okay, I've got it printed out on my plain printer paper. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it to where I would have it on my mug. I trim it down. I use a clear ruler. I've had this for years when I used to do quilting. It makes it a lot easier. And then I just match up the lines with my design. I want to take the top and the bottom off fully. Okay. Top piece does not want to come off. Okay, got it. Okay, and then one side I want to take off all of it, all the white. Oh, that was off. Okay, so I've taken all the white off. And then this side right here, I'm just going to take about half of it off because you want it to overlap on your mug. This is nice too because I don't know if you can see it. It's got the black lines through it so you can match it up with your color. So now I always put mine upside down. And then, well, this actually. Okay, so now you're going to put the cup on the mat and you're going to line it up. And you want to make sure, see, this one's not long enough, if you look. So I'm going to have to make this bigger. Because you want it to go at the very bottom. Wait for it to, you want to make sure it's at the very bottom. And then you want to make sure it goes all the way to the top. And this one don't go all the way to the top, so I'm going to have to print it one more time. Extend it out and print it one more time. Okay, so I reprinted it, recut it, and it actually looks pretty good. So if you look at the bottom, it goes all the way to the bottom. And at the top, make sure it's not blurry for you, it's going all the way to the top. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it to my other printer for sublimation, and I'll show you how to wrap it. Okay. It is now printed on a sub paper with sublimation ink. I use Hippo ink. I'll put a link to both of those in the description. This is my tape gun. It's nice because you just twist the handle and it cuts it for you. I'll also link this. All three I get off of Amazon, and I will link them in the description if you choose to buy one. Okay, so then I wrap the mug. And you need to make sure that your design goes all the way to the end of the mug. And it looks like this one does. Make sure everything lines up, top and bottom. And then I tape it side to side, make sure it's nice and tight. And then I will tape from the top of the cup all the way down the seam. To make sure there's no bubble. And then I just bring it over to the bottom. And then I use my scraper blade. Found it. So then I use my scraper blade and I go alongside the seam and just push down. That way I know it's adhered. I push both ways. And then it's ready to go into the tumbler press. With the tumbler press, I turn the switch on. I set it to 370 for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, I rotate it. But you're going to want to make sure that it's on medium pressure. See, that's like too soft. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it in with my two knobs, and I'm just going to keep testing out the pressure. Still pretty loose. So keep bringing it in. Let's try that one. It's getting better. This side's a little bit further out. A little bit more and then we'll be all set. Because you want it on medium pressure. That's perfect. Okay, so now we'll wait for the heat press to warm up. It's almost there. It's warming up pretty quickly. And then once the heat press warms up, we will put it in there. Heat press is currently at 371. I don't put butcher paper around my tumblers. If it was in my small press for my heat press, my 5-in-1 that has the tumbler press, I would. But I don't seem to get on the edges of this one. So I got my gloves on. I'm going to put this in the middle with tape side up and close the press. Then we're going to wait 30 seconds, rotate it, and do it again. I use my weeding tool. I don't know if you can see that, but I use this to take the tape off when it's still hot. Okay, let's rotate it. We're going to make sure the tape is on the bottom and do it again. Okay, we're going to take this off. I'm going to shut my press off. You never want to leave it going for any length of time. And then I'm going to move you guys back so you can see. I am going to, let's take it up right here. Start peeling the tape. And this is very hot. So you kind of got to rotate it in your hand a little bit. These gloves are great, but they still get pretty warm. And you want to be careful not to get the actual cup. Okay, here's the product. It looks pretty good. It's sublimated all the way from the top to the bottom. And let this cool. And you can just see a little of the line, like right there where they made up. But that's pretty good. I mean, the blue meets up, the purple meets up, the watercolor meets up. Okay, I'm going to let this cool off. I'll take pictures of it and put it on my online website. I've been putting a lot more on my website and not Etsy. So I may put it on Etsy, but my website is www.CraftyWithIt.com. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. It's greatly appreciated.